Chapter 18, Self-Discipline and Marriage. It is better to control yourself than to win 1,000 battles. Then the victory is yours. It cannot be taken from you, not by angels or demons, heaven or hell. Buddha. Your ability to enter into a long term loving relationship is an important measure of your character and personality. Men and women are born to be two halves that make up one whole. They have different qualities and characteristics that, when properly combined, achieve completion and the balance and harmony that nature demands. The foundational qualities for marriage and loving relationships are trust and respect. Men and women can have many disagreements over the course of their marriage life after. But as long as the trust and respect between them endure, the marriage can go on indefinitely. If ever one or the other party can no longer trust the other or no longer respects the other, the relationship is finished. Many marriages end in divorce, and many divorced people have multiple marriages, each of which ends in failure. Yet some people get married once and stay married contentedly for the rest of their lives. Why is this? The key to a happy marriage. Perhaps the most important reason for a happy marriage is compatibility. The two people are ideally balanced with each other, with each one possessing complementary qualities and characteristics that combine comfortably to form a perfect balance. People often say that opposites attract. This is a misunderstanding. Opposites attract in only one area, and that is temperament. You will always be most compatible with a person who has an opposite or counterbalancing temperament to your own. For example, if you are outgoing and extroverted, you will be most compatible with a person who is more reserved and self contained. If you are voluble and expressive, you will be most compatible with a person who is relaxed and a good listener. Nature demands a balance in temperament for two people to be compatible and happy together. Birds of a feather. In all other areas, especially in the area of values, it is similarities that attract. Birds of a feather do flock together. You will always be attracted to people and most compatible with those who have the greatest number of fundamental values in common with yourself. All of love of any kind is a response to value. We love what we most value, both in ourselves and others. When a couple is truly happy together, they seem to have very much the same values regarding family, money, ethics, work, children, politics, religion, and people. People will often point out that there are happy couples who vote for different parties or come from different religious backgrounds. But the critical issue in balance and harmony revolves around the intensity with which a person values something. This intensity determines if a person is absolute and unbending or relaxed and flexible in his or her adherence to a particular beliefs about a particular part of life. People can love and live together happily for many years, even though they support different political parties. As long as political beliefs is not so important to either of them that it takes precedence over more important elements of their relationships, such as children, family, and values. Love is our greatest need in life. It is said that everything we do in life is either to get love or to compensate for a lack of love. Psychologists generally agree that the root cause of personality problems in adult life can be traced back to love withheld in infancy and childhood. People need love like roses need rain. Without sufficient love and acceptance, individuals exhibit all kinds of personality and physical problems. It is only possible to be happy when your needs for love are completely fulfilled. A happy marriage requires tremendous self discipline and self control. Love requires self denial and sacrifice. When you are truly in love with another person, that person's happiness and well being become more important than your own. You are willing to pay whatever price and make whatever sacrifice in order to ensure the well being of the person you love. In the Christian Bible, in a letter to the Corinthians, the Apostle Paul says, love suffereth long and is kind. Love envieth not, love avengeth not itself, it is puffed up. Love doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not his own, is not easily provoked, think, thinketh no evil. Love rejoices not in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. Love beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Love never fails. Different strokes require tolerance and understanding. Each person is an individual with unique and special characteristics that make him or her different from all other people. Each person has different ideas, tastes, desires, hopes, dreams, and expectations. Each person has had different experiences and developed different ways of seeing and dealing with the world around him or her. When you come together with another person in a loving relationship, no matter how close you feel to each other and no matter how compatible you may be in many ways, you will still have areas of disagreement, dissatisfaction, and discontent. This is normal and natural and something to be worked through by practicing self discipline and self control whenever these differences occur. Self discipline in a relationship requires that you be completely honest and open, that you be yourself and never try to be someone or something else. Self discipline and honesty require that you state clearly what you are thinking and feeling without anger or irritation, and that you listen calmly and patiently to the feelings, thoughts, and opinions of the other person. Male female communication styles. Men and women are different in many ways. According to MRI scans, When men communicate, they use only two centers of their brains. When women communicate, they use the seven centers of their brains. It is as though men have two headlights with which to communicate, whereas a woman's brain is like a fully lit Christmas tree. Men can process only one sensory input at a time, whereas women can process multiple sensory inputs. When a man is watching television, he does not see or hear anything else, including words spoken to him from the side or behind. He becomes totally fixated on the visual images and words on the screen. When a man is driving a car, he has to turn down the radio to read the map. He has to turn down the television or radio to answer the telephone. He cannot read and listen to watch at the same time. Men can do anything extremely well, but they can do only one thing at a time. Men tend to be very focused. Women, on the other hand, can talk, make dinner, watch television, read the day's mail, and talk to her children or husband all at once. They are multidimensional and can process several inputs simultaneously. They can talk and listen at the same time and be aware of what other people around them are doing and saying. Women are relationship experts. They are very sensitive to other people. When a man and a woman attend a social gathering, within 10 minutes, the woman will have done an analysis and assessment of the situation of each of the other people in the room. In contrast, the man accompanying the woman will have noticed little or nothing. This is because men are simple and straightforward in their thinking, whereas women are complex, aware of small details, and extremely sensitive to the dynamics and nuances of the relationships of the people around them. A man can call his wife on the phone and say hello. Although she has only heard one word, she will immediately ask, "What's wrong?" She can pick up a wealth of meaning and emotion from a single word on the phone or a single glance or look when he walks on the door. Relationship building takes effort. Because of the many differences between men and women, it takes tremendous discipline to build and maintain a long term, loving, and happy relationship. Perhaps the most important area of mutual compatibility has to do with the discipline of listening. It is only when two people take the time to listen closely and carefully to each other when they speak that the lines of communications stay open. And this is when love and harmony continue in the relationship. There are four simple disciplines of effective listening. They are mostly of importance to men who are notoriously poor listeners, especially with the women in their lives. This is not because they are not interested. It is simply because their minds are focused on something else and they are easily distracted. The disciplines of listening. Listen attentively. The first discipline is to listen attentively without interrupting. Listen as though the other person is about to reveal a great secret or the winning lottery number, and you will hear it only once. When she wants to talk to you. If you are a man, put aside all possible distractions. Turn off the television or radio. Put down the newspaper or mail. Face her directly, lean slightly forward, and concentrate single mindedly on what she is saying. The book, His Needs, Her Needs, points out that the most important need that a woman has from a man is affection. Affection is expressed by paying total attention to her when she speaks. Since you always pay attention to what you most value, when you pay close attention to another people while she speaks, you tell that person that she is a great value to you. This satisfies the deepest subconscious needs of a woman to feel valuable, important, and respected. Pause before reply. The second discipline of listening is to pause before replying. Take a few seconds to carefully consider what he or she has said. When you pause, you avoid the risk of interrupting the other person if she is just reformulating her thoughts. You tell her that you value what she said and that you are giving her words careful consideration. Another advantage of pausing, of allowing a silence in the conversation, is that it enables you to hear not only what was said, but also what was not said or what was said between the lines. The actual message soaks into a deeper level of your mind, enabling you to understand better and to therefore respond with greater awareness and sensitivity. Ask for clarification. The third discipline of effective listening is to question for clarification. Never assume that you automatically know what the other person is thinking or feeling. Instead, if you are at all unclear, simply ask, "How do you mean?" or "How do you mean exactly?" It is when you ask questions and seek clarity and meaning that you demonstrate to the other person that you really care about what he or she is saying and that you are genuinely interested in understanding how he or she thinks and feels. Feed it back. The fourth discipline of effective listening is for you to feed back what the other person has said and paraphrase it in your own words. This is the acid test of listening. This is where you demonstrate to the other person that you were genuinely paying attention. It is only when you can repeat back what the other person has just said in your own words that you prove to him or her that you were really listening. Most problems in relationships arise because of poor communication. The couple does not talk together often enough, or one or the other does not listen attentively when the other wants to speak. Each person has an emotional need to talk a certain amount with his or her spouse. Each person also has an emotional need to listen a certain amount. The most compatible couples are those in whom the desire to talk and listen rare in balance with each other. There is an easy and flow of conversation punctuated with comfortable silences. Each person gets a chance to fulfill his or her need for both talking and listening, and both parties are content. Total commitment is essential. Love and marriage require total commitment on the part of both people. It takes tremendous discipline to go all in a relationship. What's more, this is also tremendously liberating. It is only when you are totally committed to a relationship with a single person that you are completely free to turn your attention toward fulfilling your potential in the other aspects of your life. One of the other important disciplines in a marriage or relationship is that of faithfulness. Because we live in a highly sexualized society, there are temptations and provocations around us all the time and virtually everywhere we go. It often takes considerable self discipline and self control to be completely loyal to your spouse throughout your married life. There are two ways to help you avoid the regular temptations that can damage or even destroy the most loving of relationships. First, make a decision in advance that you will never be unfaithful to your spouse. Like drawing a line in the sand, make the decision in advance that no matter what happens, you will not stray for any reason. Second, discipline yourself to stay out of harm's way. Refuse to go anywhere or do anything where temptation may exist, except when essential for business purposes. Avoid having lunch, dinners, or dinner alone with a member of the opposite sex. Remember, there is safety in crowd. Continually imagine everywhere you go and in everything you do that your spouse is standing right next to you, watching and listening to what you say and do. Imagine that anything and everything you do, no matter where you are, is going to be reported back to your spouse within 24 hours. Use your discipline and willpower to build and maintain a reputation for being a completely honest and faithful spouse. Be willing to change. Every marriage is a work in progress. As time passes, the nature of your marriage will change, usually in positive and constructive ways. To keep your relationship happy, harmonious, and growing, you must be willing to change in response to changing circumstances, especially having children and watching them grow up. You need to be prepared to change with age, new jobs and careers, physical moves from one part of the country to another, changes in financial circumstances, and changes in health. Flexibility is absolutely essential to a long, happy marriage. There are only four ways that you can change your life. First, you can do more of some things. Second, you can do less of other things. Third, you can start something that you have never done before. And fourth, you can stop certain things altogether. Whenever you are experiencing resistance or frustration, or you are confronted with the need for change, ask yourself, is there anything that I need to do more of, less of, start, or stop doing? The four questions you should ask. On a regular basis, you should sit down with your spouse and later with your children to have the courage to ask them these four questions. First, Is there anything that I am doing that you would likely me to do more of? Second, is there anything that I am doing that you would like me to do less of? Third, is there anything that you would like me to start doing that I am not doing today? Fourth, is there anything that I am doing that you would like me to stop doing altogether? When you have the courage and discipline to ask these questions of your spouse and your children on a regular basis, you will be amazed at the quality and depth of the answers you receive. You will get continual guidance on how you can modify and adjust your behaviors to maintain higher levels of harmony, happiness, and love with your spouse and the other members of your family. Your spouse should be your best friend. Love and marriage are perhaps the most important elements of a happy, fulfilling life. They require a lifelong exercise of self discipline and willpower to create and maintain harmony. They require that you be open, honest, and candid at all times. Most of all, a happy, a loving marriage requires that you see your spouse as your best friend. There should be no one in the world who you would rather spend time with more than him or her. There should be no one with whom you are more open and honest than with him or her. When you see your spouse as your best friend and treat him or her as such, you can create a loving relationship that lasts all the days of your lives. As Aman Fox, a spiritual writer and teacher, wrote, love is by far the most important thing of all. It casts out fear. It is the fulfilling of the law. It covers a multitude of sins. Love is absolutely invincible. There is no difficulty that enough love will not cure, no disease that enough love will not heal, no door that enough love will not open, no gulf that enough love will not bridge, no wall that enough love will not throw down, no sin that enough love will not redeem. It makes no difference how deeply seated may be the trouble, how hopeless the outlook, how muddled the tangle, how great the mistake, a sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. If only you could love enough, you would be the happiest and most powerful being in the world. In the next chapter, you will learn specifically why self discipline is so important when raising happy, healthy, and self confident children. Action exercises. First, what is the most important single action you could take right now to increase the love and harmony in your marriage or relationship? Second, what disciplines or practices could you develop that would improve the quality of your marriage for the other person? Third, identify one behavior you could engage in that would improve your communications in your marriage. Fourth, sit down with your spouse and ask him or for ideas for things that you should do more or less of start or stop doing. Fifth, identify the two qualities that you most admire in your partner. Sixth, identify the areas in which you and your partner are the most compatible. 7. Identify the most important values that you and your partner share.